Hello kindred spirits, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be getting into our grimoires. So if you have an art grimoire or you like to get into art magic, then this is definitely the video for you. Today we're going to be playing around with an oracle spread. A lot of you said that you really enjoyed the Lady Luck oracle that I created and showed off in my grimoire tour, and I thought, well, let's just show you how to actually do it. So we're going to see how to actually assemble this, how to put the brad in, how to make sure it actually spins and doesn't get stuck and get all clunky. And yeah, so we're going to start first with a blank page. I'm going to be doing a very big rainbow theme. I've been really interested in learning more about rainbows and rainbow magic. It's been quite a year for me, and rainbows have been just really hopeful. And then on top of that, I've been really inspired by Molly Roberts' new book. This is not sponsored, I just love it and thought I'd show it off about rainbow magic, so it was the perfect time to create this spread. Though you could do yours on anything, right? It could be ladybugs, it could be rainbows, it could be about different sabbats. I think that would be super fun to do one for each of the different sabbats. But in this case, what I'm going to do is start gluing one of these little papers that I created, where I just basically took a piece of printer paper and threw washes of watercolor all over it. And now I'm just going to glue on the pages. I'm also adding a little sigil in the glue and just popping it right on top. As I end up doing all of this too, I realized that it's a little bit smaller than the actual page, so I ended up just kind of faking it on this edge and using the bits that I trimmed off to kind of fix up this other edge on the side. I'm also not really sure exactly what I'm going to do with this second page. We're not really going to play with it too much today. I have ideas, but I probably won't show it in this. It'll probably be in a later grimoire tour, so eventually one of those will be coming back out again to show you the updates of the things that I've been getting up to. I'm also using this stencil to sort of create a little bit of structure to the page, and I love it because it perfectly creates a circle in the center, though you could put your oracle anywhere. I just like it in the center, so I wanted to sort of figure out where the center was. And we are going to be doing a bit of geometry, and we're going to need not only a compass but also a protractor here. So I'm using this protractor on top of the Lady Luck oracle to sort of fudge what I did before to try to figure it all out. But basically you just need to decide two different things. First, how big your oracle is going to be. So in this case, I was using the compass to try to figure out how big I did it in the past. So you're just basically finding the radius of a circle and then creating the circle on some sort of surface. In this case, I'm using mixed media paper, some Canson mixed media paper to create this on. And then I'm also going to figure out how many pie slices I need. So we're going to use the protractor to figure that out. So you could do 6, you could do 8, you could do 12. I'm doing 12 pie slices. It just needs to be an even number. And then you just need to basically take 360 degrees divided by the amount of pie slices you want, and that'll tell you how many degrees you're going to be doing with the protractor. And then I'm just going to start actually decorating these. So I'm going to use a little bit of my watercolors, and I'm also going to use some of this rain water because, of course, rainbows need the rainwater, right? Rainbows only can come with the rain. So I am going to use that. And I'm also using a little bit of waterproof Higgins ink. This is just some waterproof India ink that's going to be perfect for putting the watercolors next to. And when I'm doing this, I'm not trying to be super precise. I really just want to lay down some lines for the pie slices. And later, like when you're turning the oracle, I find it's really useful to have these thicker lines so that in case you don't get it entirely perfect, it'll just blend into the black cardstock that you're going to have on the top. Although yours does not necessarily have to be black, so whatever color you choose for the top, just matching that for those lines is going to be really useful. And then I'm adding these little dots as well for the numbers later on. Using the same method I did before of just sort of eyeballing it with the compass, I'm adding one more sort of pie piece into the top section of the spinner. So basically this is going to be the top part that covers up everything below. And so you really only need one pie slice sort of cut out from it. And then you can decorate it later on with the top part of that section. But I'm going to continue to focus on the bottom section. So like I said, I did 12 different oracle messages here. So that was perfect to do a whole little color chart. So I'm doing basically yellow all the way through the entire rainbow. And I'm also adding on top of the rainbow these little pieces of salt, which also adds a little bit of that cleansing, fresh energy that rainbows can bring out. And it also adds a really cool texture. If you guys have ever used salt on watercolors, it's super fun. It does take a longer time to dry, but I feel like it's really worth it. It really does feel like magic. So while that is drying, I am going to go ahead and cut this. So pro tip, this is a moment where I kind of messed up because I ended up cutting it all the way to the center. So pro tip, go ahead and cut it just to almost the center. And then because I want to decorate the top of this spinner oracle, I'm going to use these sort of rainbow art felt things. I don't know if you guys ever saw the commercials in the 90s for these things, but I ended up getting a version that they still sell today, and it's one of my absolute favorite art tools. Like, it feels like magic every single time I create one of these little rainbows, and I love how they all blend together in this perfect way. I'm sure you could probably hack it with any other normal art supply that you have with some kind of watercolor effect, but I loved doing this with the rainbows. So you can do this with anything you wanted, but this is just the perfect art supply I had for this occasion. So that's what I ended up doing. And then I ended up taking off all of the salt as well once those were dry. Taking these microns, I'm going to go ahead and just sort of decorate the top of this rainbow oracle page. I'm not trying to be super precise here. I'm just adding a little bit of flair, a little bit of fun to the top, and I really wanted to keep the colors from below showing through. And then taking some of my stamps here, I'm actually going to add, just like I did with my Lady Luck oracle, little stamps in each of the little corner sections. In this case though, I'm going to use one of my handmade stamps here of a hand with sort of this spiritual energy in the center. I always see it as being like a burst of fire, and then I'm taking these teeny little hands next to them. So we're going to start actually adding in the oracle messages. I think it's really useful to just have them written on your phone or have them ready to go before you start, because I've done it in the past with the Lady Luck oracle, and you can get stumped for a really long time trying to figure out what exact messages you want. In this case, I wanted to do a ton of ones kind of related to the idea of what I see as a rainbow, and in lots of different sort of varieties, right? Rainbows can mean a lot of different things. So I ended up doing that. And then I also added in some numbers, so that if you wanted to use dice or you wanted to do an oracle through dice or rolling dice, then you would be able to do that and know exactly which one to go to. And then after I get this all cut out, we get to actually start assembling it all, which is both the most daunting part and the fun part too. It just takes a little bit of fiddling to figure it all out, but I think it's definitely worth it in the end. As I end up decorating these, I had a lot of fun doing that, and it kind of gave me some more inspiration to sort of work on more of the energy of the rainbow, because I feel like, you have to have the rain to also get the rainbow, and the year that I've been having has had a lot of rain, so I'm very excited to be working more with the hopeful side of the rainbow. I like to use the backside of any sort of notepad to use as sort of a gluing station. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just going to glue them all on to the top. Like I said, you guys could do any kind of oracle, but I found it really useful to just sort of have a focus area on the top for whatever it is. So right, I did ladybugs before. This time there are rainbows on the top. If it was abundance, maybe there'd be pumpkins, but whatever you like. And then I'm taking this little awl. If you don't have an awl, you can use any sort of spiky tool, and I'm also using these little brads. I don't love how thick these brads are, so I ended up sort of flattening out the brads so it'd be a lot thinner in my journal, with some pliers. It was pretty easy to do, and I feel like it just works a lot better in not making my art grimoire too clunky. And then making sure you are in the exact center of your circle. Go ahead and mark out each of those and punch your holes. And then as you can see, there's a little bit of overlay there, so I ended up having to trim a little bit more. And my, like I said, my mistake earlier was getting a little too close to the center, so I ended up having to add a little reinforcement here and punch a new hole in. And then I don't love to keep these little white edges raw, so I'm just adding a little bit of black. You could use this with a Sharpie, any felt tip marker would do, but I'm just sort of making sure those don't look so bare. And then after I got all of this done, I started to use some tacky glue to assemble it all, which is, again, the nerve-wracking part. This is the part where you really don't want to mess it up, because you want the brad to continue to be able to move. So as you can see, I'm making sure that the glue isn't too close to the brad so it can continue to move. And I'm also taking these pieces of paper, kind of sandwiching them between the black and white parts of the spinner so that I don't accidentally glue them together when I'm spreading out the glue. And you really want to make sure, again, that the brad does not get glued too close to it so it can continue to move, because that's kind of what will kind of make or break your project here. So now I'm just gonna fiddle with this a little bit, and you'll probably fiddle with yours too, and sort of place it down. I had to end up kind of moving mine up just a little smidge there because it was a little bit too low, but that's the good thing about making sure to wait a second before you fully put down your glue. And then just make sure that it actually spins. That's another really good thing to do before the glue perfectly hardens. Then I just wanted to add a little bit of that rainbow oracle, adding in more of that white gel pen. And then I realized I didn't have a little spinner doodad at the bottom. I don't know what you'd call it, a tab, I guess. As you can see, I had it in my previous one, a little golden star tab at the bottom. And so I wanted to do another one, but this time with white gel pen and a little bit of gold. Later on, I'll add gold to it. And just putting that in the center, adjacent to the pie piece, so that you can spin it a lot easier, and just adds a little bit more visual interest too. Like I said, adding a little bit of gold, I wanted to finish this off with a little bit of gold, just add a little bit more of that gold from the brad so it didn't seem so out of touch. And then it's complete. I am so curious to see what you guys think of this spread. Do please tag me, let me know, share with me any that you end up creating, any kind of oracle that you put in your different spreads and how you end up creating one. I truly would love to see them. Please do send them to me. And because I don't do these videos very often, the YouTube algorithm isn't probably going to spread this out very far. So if you really want to see more of these videos, definitely be sure to send your love to this video, comment, like the video, and subscribe. All of those things really, really do help to make sure that I can continue to create these and continue to keep this place running. So definitely feel free to do all of those things, and check out any other videos that I have on the channel. But I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys today. I just want to remind you that you guys have so much potential for your art, and I would love to see what you guys end up creating. Thank you so much for hanging out here with me today. Thank you for getting creative with me and just seeing what we could cook up. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.